In today's video, I'll be sharing with you some fresh, low-cap gems that I've never covered before on my channel. Now, these are projects that span across different narratives because I believe sometimes it's better to invest in a general idea that will take off in the crypto space. Now, once these ideas start to pop off, projects within that sector will do well. Take, for example, during the AI trend, there were a lot of projects that had been implementing AI that started to do well just because they existed within that niche. And so, in today's video, I'm going to give you 10 low cap gems, different narratives that I believe will do well in the coming bull run. And my first pick for today is the Factor. Now, this is a project within the real world asset narrative, and I really like it because it's a project that caters to the little guy. SMEs or small and medium enterprises have a harder time gaining investors or people to invest in their projects, and that's where the blockchain comes in. The blockchain opens up the markets to millions of investors all around the world that will be happy to invest into small and medium enterprises. The Factor makes this easy, better than the old and traditional system where we need big wigs or major corporations to invest into other big projects. This is a project that allows smaller businesses to thrive with the aid of investors on the blockchain. I really think the Factor is interesting. I've gone through the white paper, and I think, with the real world asset narrative that I believe is going to be bullish in the crypto space, this project will do well in the long term. It's sitting at a market cap of $3 million and 26% in circulation. I really wish it was much higher, but it's still a good looking project nonetheless. Now, you can find this project on Mexi or Uniswap, Ethereum or Polygon, depending on how much gas fee you'd like to spend. So the Factor is very interesting, building on the big idea of real world assets tokenization. This is an idea that I'm behind. The real world is becoming digital, ownership's no longer proven by paper, and what the Factor does is to bridge the funding gap for small investors, to simplify that investment process. And if you take a look at the white paper here, you would see the old system where investors need investment funds from large institutions, and it's not available to so many customers out there. Well, with the Factor, it becomes much easier. Small and medium enterprises have an easier access to funding from customers, and they are doing so on the Factor platform. I think this is very interesting. It has a real world use case, it's got real world utility, and a narrative that I'm bullish on. I think the Factor has a lot of potential. There's a large gap between large corporations and small and medium enterprises, and I think the Factor closing that gap and giving more opportunities for investors to get in on this project is a good thing. So this is a project that is solving a lot of problems, and I think the fact that it's got real world utility and is behind the real world asset narrative, I think this project will do well. So the next real world assets crypto that I'm super bullish on, my favorite within that narrative, is Elify. Now, I like Elify because it's just being used right now. It's very practical, and they've got the papers to support what they are doing. Regulatory compliance, and within a niche that I'm bullish on, I think this project will go very far. Now, this is a project that the patrons got in early on and made a 7x on it. So if you want to make gains like that even in the bear markets, be sure to consider my Patreon, links in the description. So I like Elify because it's still within this real world asset narrative niche, and it operates mainly in South Korea and the United States. This is different from what the Factor is doing. The Factor helps small and medium enterprises get funding for their business. Elify allows you to earn interest on loans given out by collateralizing landed properties. Once these properties are collateralized, they become tokenized on the blockchain, where you own shares of it and get the interest from people who collect loan on the property. And this isn't just all talk. This is a project that is actually doing this. They've got over 75 closed loans that people were able to get interest on, over 20% APR, 12%, 5%, 5.52, and the loan value of about $200,000. So imagine being a part of giving out that loan because you are able to take part of the collateralized property with the blockchain when it has been tokenized, and you're owning just part of it, not all of it. I think that's an intelligent and interesting idea, and Elify is doing that very well. So you can see all of these have been repaid. The addresses are there for you to see, and the papers are there for you to check out yourself. And I think that's the most interesting part of Elify. It's all visible, is all available for you to check out for yourself. And Elify is definitely a project that is using this reward asset narrative effectively. It has interesting interest rates, is completely eliminating the need for a third party. LFI provides a viable and consistent return based on real world assets. So I think this is a project that, for the market cap is sitting at about just $600,000 in market cap. This is a multi-billion dollar industry. We're talking about real world assets. I think this project has a lot of room for growth and potential. And the last project within the real world asset narrative, that many of the gem hunters have covered is Labs Group. Now, Labs Group approach is kind of like an Airbnb and hotel resort approach. And I like all of these projects, De Facto, LFI, and now Labs Group, because they are all operating within that niche, but they're all unique, they're all different, they've got unique selling points. So Labs Group has that hotel resort, Airbnb kind of approach to the real world assets narrative, sitting at a market cap of $2 million and over 22% in circulation. I think Labs Group is a decent project. I think it's going to do well in the long term. Labs Group makes real estate accessible for everyone by using Web3 to make transactions for digital assets. I've made many videos about Labs Group, their partnerships with StayNext, their interesting marketing with Arsenal, integrating with Morpheus Labs. This is a project that I believe has a lot of long-term potential. And now we're going to be moving on to the next narrative that I'm bullish on, and those are blockchain tools. Now, the reason why I like blockchain tools is because many projects within the space will find them relevant to be able to operate efficiently. And if blockchain tools are constantly being used by other projects within the space, they will find more demand, they will find more use cases, and they will grow as the crypto space is growing. This makes me bullish on blockchain tools, and I've covered several of them. I've talked about XP Network, I've talked about charged particles, I've also talked about mid-caps like Injective Protocol. But in today's video, I'm going to be covering a fresh lookup that I haven't covered before, because I faced some, technical issues, especially regarding the tokenomics and some whales in it, but still an interesting project, good blockchain tool nonetheless, and that's SwingB. Now, SwingB is an interesting looking project, not the best tokenomics like I said, but a very powerful idea and a good blockchain tool that I believe has a lot of potential. So this is a high risk play in my opinion. Its all-time low is just up from 25%. It's definitely a project that I can throw in a couple of $100, but more than just that, let's look at what the project idea is about. SwingB is a bridging protocol that allows you to build trustless bridges between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Chain, and other blockchains secured by a network of nodes that executes fast token swaps using layer 2 multi-party computing technology. So now imagine the reason why I like XP Network, where we've got bridging for NFTs. Now we've got bridging of different assets within different blockchain, not just NFTs. So that's the main idea behind SwingB. I think this project is interesting because they've got interesting followed by Polygon Labs, KuCoin. I think those are interesting people to be followed by, and I think this project definitely has potential. They've got good updates on their Twitter. So SwingB is definitely a useful blockchain tool for sending tokens, cross bridges. It's got the interoperability within it, interesting APR for staking, and good partnerships. We've got Chainlink, Multiverse, Band Protocol, Unstoppable Domains, and so on. So I think this project definitely has potential. I think it can do well. Running a node to make it possible is going to be something that will be lucrative, and I think this project definitely has a lot of potential for the long term. And like I said, other blockchain tools include XP Network, Charged Particles, which is doing very well, by the way. I really think this project has a lot of long-term potential, and Injective Protocol, something that I'm also super bullish on for a very long time. Now, the next narrative that I think is going to do very well is decentralized storage, because why should other people be keeping your data for you? I think it's better for you to be able to control and use your data how you please. I think the need for owning and controlling your own personal information is important, and the blockchain enhances this narrative. So the first project within that niche is Big Data Protocol, and I like Big Data Protocol because I get a lot of Ocean Protocol vibes from it. It allows you to treat your data as an asset and you can monetize it. So big data protocol, definitely an interesting storage, decentralized storage project with a low market cap, $4 million and 62% in circulation. I like to see that. The next decentralized storage project is the Cross Network. I like Cross Network because it has a strong focus on interoperability, built on Polkadot, and $7.8 million in market cap, another low cap gem. So Cross Network provides a decentralized storage network and cloud solutions for both Web3 as well as Web2 ecosystem. So that's an interesting take on interoperability as well. Not just Web3, but will be relevant to the Web2 space as well. Cross Network is definitely one you should pay close attention to, and I believe it will do very well in the long term. The use cases for the Cross Network: providing technical infrastructure, minting, storing and exchanging NFTs, hosting of websites, dApps, video streaming and more, Web3 gaming, decentralized social media, personal cloud storage and access to your data from anywhere, and file sharing and streaming services. I think this project will do well. And the next one is Stratos. Stratos is another good decentralized storage solution with a strong focus on scalability. I think Stratos will do well because this is a project that has a focus of expanding greatly, and if you are going to have institutional adoption, if you're going to need institutions to invest in your project, you need to be scalable to be able to onboard as many people as you want. So Stratos has a very strong focus on scalability. The next generation of decentralized data mesh that provides scalable, reliable, self-balanced storage, database and computing network. Stratos is born for scaling blockchain process capacity while retaining the decentralized benefits of a distributed protocol, including trustless, traceability, verifiable, privacy, and so on. I'm bullish on Stratos as well. Sitting at a market cap of $10 million, I still think it can go much higher because there's a strong need for people to be able to control their own data, to own their own data. And these projects, all of which I've covered today, cross interoperability, Stratos scalability, and big data protocol, monetizing your user information, they all approach decentralized storage from unique angles and perspectives. So aside from real world assets, blockchain tools, and decentralized storage, there are many other narratives I'm looking at. Be sure to check out the video on the end screen if you don't want to miss any of that. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've subscribed by now. Don't forget to like, share, comment down below on any other project or topic you'd like me to cover, and I hope to see you next time. Stay safe and take care.